Concentration is important in anything we do. Applying keen observation with targeted action will more likely lead to success. A thought to consider as we all strive to endure beyond our points of frustration and achieve our goals. Hi there, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Welcome to today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. Coming up on today's pages, we look at how to protect ourselves from diseases through immunization. Also a plan to improve dairy milk production. And later, learn how you can protect your trees from damage by a hurricane or storm. Stay tuned for all those and more right after these messages.
This is the Aedes aegypti mosquito that spreads the Zika, chikungunya, and dengue viruses. Protect yourself from the bite of this mosquito. A message from the Ministry of Health.
Parents, make sure the children get immunized. Hear this! Immunization, it is a must. This is not a joke thing, this you can trust. It is required by law for entry to nursery, to daycare and to schools. Listen up, it is necessary to prevent diseases such as the measles, the poliomyelitis, the lockjaw and the whooping cough. Immunize your kids, keep them healthy, keep them strong. Prevent deadly diseases such as mumps, rubella and diphtheria. Immunize your child today. Immunization, a key to good health.
A message from the Ministry of Health and PAHO.
The practice of administering a vaccine which stimulates the body's own immune system to protect against infectious diseases is one of the cornerstones of Jamaica's triumphs in healthcare. Let's take a look at the scope of this intervention and find out why you should embrace immunization.
Immunization is arguably one of the most cost-effective healthcare interventions ever invented. Since the first successful vaccine was developed to treat smallpox in 1796, vaccination has been preventing illnesses and deaths for millions of people around the world. According to the World Health Organization, about 2 to 3 million deaths are prevented each year because of persons taking up vaccines or being immunized. Through vaccination, smallpox was declared eradicated from the world in 1980, and that's a significant achievement. Other diseases are on the verge of being eradicated through the process of immunization here in Jamaica.
Immunization has led to a substantial reduction of illnesses and death from diseases such as polio, measles, whooping cough, and newborn tetanus. Measles deaths have decreased by almost 80% over the past 10 years, which again is a significant achievement.
Jamaica's immunization program has managed to eliminate a number of vaccine-preventable diseases over the years. These include polio, which usually left children paralyzed.
Jamaica had the last case, for example, of polio in 1982. The last case of locally transmitted measles in 1991, the last case of diphtheria in 1995, the last case of rubella in 2000, and the last case of newborn tetanus in 2001.
In 2011, the country recorded 100% immunization coverage for BCG or tuberculosis. Thanks to the expanded program on immunization EPI, which began in 1976, the population coverage against vaccine-preventable diseases remains relatively high. Under the program, immunization coverage for children under 2 years old reached 93 to 94% in 2010-2011. The expanded program on immunization provides free vaccination to children ages 0 to 7 during the routine immunization schedule of the Ministry of Health. This is an integral strategy to reduce child mortality and morbidity.
First, we give at birth up to 6 weeks of age BCG vaccine, which is given usually in the hospital setting, and BCG protects against tuberculosis. At 6 weeks, 3 months, and 6 months, babies are due a vaccine against polio, which prevents poliomyelitis, as well as the pentavalent vaccine or the 5-in-1 vaccine.
Then at 12 months of age, the MMR vaccine is administered to protect children against measles, mumps, and rubella.
At 18 months, we give the first set of booster vaccines, and we give boosters again for MMR, the children get DPT as well, which is for diphtheria, pertussis, and tetanus. And then they also get the polio vaccine at that time as well.
Between the ages of 4 to 6 years, children must get a second booster vaccine for DPT as well as a second booster vaccine for polio.
A lot of these vaccine-preventable diseases are actually quite contagious and can cause death, especially among our young children. And so therefore I would encourage parents to ensure that their children are appropriately vaccinated.
In Jamaica, children must be fully immunized before entry to school, and that is usually a part of mandatory school medicals due before the start of each academic year.
They have to present the immunization record at the health facility to confirm that the vaccines indeed have been done, and if they are missing any vaccines for whatever reason, then they are provided for them at the health facility.
The immunization record is part of the Child Health Development Passport introduced for every child in 2010 to replace the immunization cards used previously. As part of its public education initiative, the Ministry of Health displays posters and other material at health centers and schools, reminding parents and caregivers about the immunization schedules, showing what vaccine is due and when. Disease surveillance is also practiced at ports of entry to combat the country's increased susceptibility to new diseases due to globalization and increased travel. Across the board, government is on a mission to improve the health of the nation by making traditional vaccines available and exploring new and non-traditional vaccines to tackle other diseases.
For example, the mitigation of NCDs like some cancers, which can be prevented through vaccination, such as the vaccine for the human papilloma virus, which causes cervical cancer, falls in line with the Ministry of Health strategic plan to improve the offering to the public. And the commitment today is that we will work to ensure that other vaccines on the market with a proven track record are introduced as part of our routine administration to our population.
On our roads, remember, take time, be courteous, drive good, walk good. Part of keeping our roads safe is ensuring the vehicles we drive are mechanically safe, meeting all roadworthy requirements. And besides that, we must be good drivers and avoid risk-taking and sensation-seeking behaviors which are prone to causing road crashes.
Milk is an important source of protein and other nutrients that are good for us adults and growing children. It's also a key source of income for many farmers, and plans are now unfolding to increase local production as part of the efforts toward economic growth and food security. Take a look.
Hazelnut brown, white, spotted, horns or not, they produce that nutritious substance which makes strong bones and teeth. There is a drive on to have Jamaicans drinking more local cow's milk. For the last few decades, the consumption of Jamaica's cow's milk has declined significantly. The annual production of local milk has dropped from 600 farmers producing 38.8 million litres in 1992 to less than 200 farmers supplying approximately 12 million litres in 2015. At the same time, the consumption of milk and milk substitutes account for more than 60 million litres annually, 90% of it imported.
At what point we were able to say, but I don't think it was really a glut. It was the importation of the cheap milk powder. The milk powder doesn't have to be refrigerated. They were overlooking the nutritional value of cow's milk.
The decline in local milk consumption has affected several areas, causing a high import bill and a decline in employment opportunities.
I experienced milk a whole cool, and I'm talking about like 300 gallons of milk. And you have to just run it down the drain like that. And when you throw the milk, you still have to pay the workers, still have to pay electricity, still have to pay all your bills. Because you can't go to nobody who tells you have to throw the milk.
It also affects the cows, as the decline in consumption causes fewer milking sessions, forcing the breasts to become painful from an excess of milk. Despite the perils of the industry, there are farmers who refuse to be cowed by the appeal of cheaper imports. Oral Wallace is one such farmer who has put his life on the line to stay in the dairy business.
It was started in about 1969 by my father, Mr. Rupert Wallace, and my mom, Miss Pansy Wallace. They bring it up to about the year 2000 when I took over, about 2002. The major challenge for dairy farmers, I think, is period lasting. Because at night I can't sleep. I have to be up there. They make after me 2 times, I think within about 3 months period. And they came with their guns, but I had to take cover, and afterward they were evaded. Milk industry, it's basically you have to be a lover of dairying to be in it, because the dairy industry is not an easy road.
Gulping the white substance to the last sip will be a daily routine for every Jamaican if these entities have their way. 4 companies have formed a partnership to revive the island's dairy industry under what's called the Drink Real Milk campaign. The government-owned Jamaica Dairy Development Board, CB Group through its subsidiary Nutrimix, Separate Limited with its Surge Island Dairies, and Newport for San Jamaica Limited have come together to increase the production and consumption of Jamaican milk over the next 10 years. The target is to produce 20 million litres annually.
The industry itself was really degenerating quite significantly. It's a cause for concern for everybody.
The partners aim to overhaul the industry on 2 levels, production and consumption. The production strategy seeks to improve access to better genetic material, enhance animal health, and institute customized feeding programs and proper pasture management. The Jamaica Dairy Development Board has stepped in boldly to help in this area.
The Dairy Sector Revitalization Project, flagship project or activity is the concessionary loan program, where farmers have difficulty in accessing loans at reasonable rates. So we have instituted a program where we allow farmers funds, loans through the Jamaica Dairy Development, the DBJ, Development Bank of Jamaica and its affiliates, where farmers can access loans at the rate of 5%, which is quite competitive. There's a 5 million threshold for the individual borrower, and for corporate entities, it's 10 million.
The Dairy Board has also committed more than $20 million to deal with prairie larceny in partnership with the Agriculture Ministry. On the consumption side, the campaign seeks to encourage purchasing of fresh, locally produced milk to support the island's farmers, promoting the health benefits of drinking milk and sharing additional benefits of drinking cow's milk versus powdered milk.
Over the past few years, milk has been a little bit quiet, and so everyone else, all the milk substitutes have been in your face and telling you, oh, you know, you should drink us instead. But the reality is, there's nothing like real milk, and what we're trying to get people to understand as well is drink Jamaican real milk.
Once you let the people aware of the nutritional values of it, it will go right back up. I was almost born on a farm, and from I've born, I've been drinking cow's milk, and do I look sick? Not at all.
Supporting the local milk industry provides jobs, increases the country's economic wealth, and nourishes our bodies. Persons interested in entering dairy farming may contact the Jamaica Dairy Development Board at 618-7107 or 927-1731-50.
Hurricanes can strike at any time. In the event of one, be prepared to act quickly. If a hurricane watch or warning has been issued, review your home disaster response plan. Map out likely routes to evacuate if your home is at risk, and confirm with relatives or friends you plan to stay with. Also, confirm the location of the nearest shelter. Check your emergency supplies and restock if necessary. Remember, disasters do happen, so be prepared.
Applications are now open for local manufacturers and producers interested in participating in the Tourism Linkages Network's Christmas in July 2016 trade show. To get more information and application forms, click online mot.gov.jm, jbdc.net, jma.com.jm, or jamaicatradeandinvest.org. The deadline for submission of application is now June 17. Limited space is available. Apply early and supply your Jamaican-made corporate gifts under this Christmas in July, a Ministry of Tourism initiative. The Ministry of Health is reminding citizens to search in and around their home and general environment for mosquito breeding sites weekly and destroy them. Organize cleanup campaigns and use mosquito repellents, mosquito nets, and proper clothing to protect against mosquito bites. For more information, contact 1-888-1-LOVE. That's 1-888-663-5683 or 663-7914. Also, visit your parish health department or the Ministry of Health's website, www.moh.gov.jm. And that's all for our community notices today. Send us your events for broadcast on the GIS Community Notice Board. Call 922-868-022 or send an email to cbishop@gis.gov.jm.
Wait, hold on. Colin, hey, what go on? You know, say, I'm on my way to go look about the farm work program. Aye, I love to do the farm work program there, you know. But remember, I serve a 5-year prison sentence for a minor crime. Them can't clear it, you know.
Yes, Colin can get his record expunged. Expungement is having a conviction removed from your criminal record after certain specifications have been met. Visit the Criminal and Civil Justice Division in the Ministry of Justice for more information.
Picking our own fruits from the trees in our backyards or in an orchard is a joy, but one we could lose from the ravages of a storm or hurricane. Coming up, we examine how you can protect your trees as we brave the hurricane season.
Our trees are prone to damage during storms and hurricanes, a somewhat heart-rending situation, especially when we lose our good fruit-bearing trees. What can we do to protect our trees? Just prune them. Pruning will not only save the trees from wind damage, it improves production and makes harvesting much easier.
The tools you need for the job for pruning are necessarily your secateur and your pruning saws. Other mechanical tools might include your telescopic pole pruners, like what we have here. This pole pruner has the ability to extend to approximately 13 feet.
Before you cut the tree, one of the things you need to do is to assess the whole tree. Walk around the tree, look at it. If I cut this branch, how will it affect the growth on that side? If I cut over here, where the branch will fall.
Once you've established your reasons for pruning, which may be numerous, it's time to cut away those excess or unwanted parts of the tree.
This tree is approximately 25 feet tall, and it's too tall. Whenever the tree is too tall, it will serve as a barrier or a resistance to the wind during the storm. And if the tree puts up too much resistance, it causes the tree to topple over or uprooted. And if the tree is too compact, if you have a lot of branches overcrowding each other and crossing each other, then the canopy will be too thick, it will be too compact. So if and when the storm comes and the wind, the tree will provide a resistance, and that is where you get the damage. You'll get damage to your branches or even to the extent where the tree is uprooted. So what we are doing is to reduce the height of the tree and at the same time open up the canopy so the air can pass through. Basically, you need to reduce the height of your tree to about 12 feet. So by the time you get regrowth. If you notice where the branch joins the trunk of the tree, there's a swelling here. This is a swelling. This is known as your branch color, like your shirt color. So whenever you're cutting and pruning your trees in preparation for the storm, or you're doing your normal pruning, you need to cut your branch within an inch of the branch color. And if you cut within an inch of the branch color, they don't need to paint it. You don't need to paint it. Suppose you need to remove this branch. Where these two branches join, you refer to it as a fork. Like a fork, you need to remove this one, you cut within an inch of the fork. If you notice, there are some bumps here. If you notice, here's a bump here, another bump here, one here. These bumps are known as node. And there's a swelling at each node. And the same reason that there are sufficient chemicals and tissue in here to seal the cut. So if you need to remove this branch out here, you remove it within an inch of the node. Granted, you make your cut slant, like at a 45-degree angle, so when the rain falls, the water will run off. But like in everything else, every rule has exception. If you are pruning an avocado, a breadfruit tree, or a June plum, then you need to paint those. Because the center of those trees are like a sponge, and they will absorb the water, and you will lose the tree. Now that we have removed the apical branches, and we are opening up the entire center of the tree, the canopy, what you are looking at now is like a wine glass effect.
For young trees, you should start pruning and train them as they get to 3 feet. Ensure your branches are spreading laterally and not vertically, and to keep your fruit tree at a maximum height of no more than 15 feet. Grow well. Until next time, take care.
Up next, top stories making news this week.
Hi there, I'm Simone Wolf with your JIS News of the Week. Prime Minister Andrew Holness and his Trinidadian counterpart held bilateral talks last weekend as they sought to address tensions surrounding trade issues and the lengthy detention of Jamaican nationals in the Immigration Detention Center. The two met while Mr. Holness was in Cuba to attend the 7th summit of the Association of Caribbean States. While reporting on that ACS summit during this Tuesday's sitting of Parliament, the Prime Minister also revealed that Cuba and Jamaica would be sharing expertise and best practices on tackling the potential threat of climate change and rising sea levels on the region. A multi-destination tourism agreement was also signed with Cuba.
We acknowledge the importance of working together expeditiously to facilitate the movement of people through the region to support multi-destination tourism in the Caribbean.
Co-chairman of the Economic Program Oversight Committee, Richard Biles, is reporting that Jamaica's economic account has gotten off to a good start for the 2016-2017 fiscal year. He pointed to the $2.3 billion net international reserves, tax revenue being above budget, lower expenditure, and a significant primary surplus target of $6 billion for April.
So for the first month of the fiscal year, we are out of the blocks very fast.
EPOC's co-chairman says the IMF board is expected to approve the 11th and 12th review of its program with Jamaica, allowing the country to get a drawdown of about $80 million. The Minister of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries, Carl Samuda, opened the sectoral debate in Parliament on Tuesday and announced that the 2013 Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, MSME and Entrepreneurship Policy would be reviewed to create a standard definition of MSMEs.
This initiative will improve the reporting of financial statistics for the sector and will lay the foundation for development of more tailored financing products.
Transport and Mining Minister Mike Henry made his contribution to the sectoral debate on Wednesday, announcing that the JUTC would be rolling out a 3-route operation in sections of rural Jamaica starting in September. The pilot will be extended from Old Harbour in St. Catherine to near Clarendon and Manchester, including school routes in and around Maypen, particularly the Garvey Maceo High School in southwest Clarendon. And during his contribution to the sectoral debate on Wednesday, Minister of State for Education, Youth and Information Floyd Green said $30 million was being allocated for an early intervention program for young children and their mothers. The program is aimed at addressing nutritional and psychosocial gaps in children 0 to 3 years to result in better education and training outcomes. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton informed Parliament this week that members of Parliament would be given $1 million each to support Zika prevention activities at the constituency level. Between July 1 and the end of August, the funds will be available to, among other things, train 1,000 community workers.
We expect, Mr. Speaker, that this formal training will allow us to have a core group of persons that we can call upon for similar activities in the future. These workers will be employed for 6 weeks in the first phase, beginning July 1st, 2016.
In the meantime, the second leg of government's national cleanup campaign began targeting Portland communities last weekend.
It is our intention to collect what we call the bulky waste, not just the bulky waste, but anything that is movable, anything that you deem to be unfit, that should be taken away. The program is going to continue for at least another 7 days, not just here in the eastern part of Portland, but in the western part of Portland.
And finally, the Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF is now able to access criminal records with the installation of a computerized system. The $98 million system, which was funded by the UK government, replaces the manual documentation format at the Criminal Records Office on Duke Street in Kingston.
This system should be fully utilized by the JCF to make their work easier and certainly more effective in tracking the movements of the few hundreds, perhaps few thousands of criminals who really prey on our society. If we can properly track them and keep them under control, we would go a far way in controlling the crime problem in Jamaica.
And those were some of the stories making news this week. I'm Simone Wolf.
Householders, business people, school administrators, be on the alert. Help control the mosquito population. Destroy breeding sites. Empty old tires and all other containers where water can settle. Bore holes in old cans. Cover water drums and garbage cans. Wash flower pots and vases and clean pet dishes regularly. Protect yourself from mosquito bites. Cover your body as much as possible and use mosquito repellent containing DEET.
And this is where we take our leave on yet another informative edition of Jamaica Magazine. We value your feedback, so keep the link. Tell us what you thought of the show. Send an email to jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. You can also visit our website, jis.gov.jm, or our social media platforms. Until next time, I'm Adrian Atkinson, reminding you to take care of your health, eat well, exercise, get adequate rest, and make every day a productive one.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.